Dr. Michael Ryan, he's a leader at the World Health Organization, announced that in response to the spread of this virus, authorities may have to enter people's homes and remove family members, presumably by force.
In most parts of the world, due to lockdown, most of the transmission that's actually happening in many countries now is happening in the household, at family level. In some senses, transmission has been taken off the streets and pushed back into family units. Now we need to go and look in families to find those people who may be sick and remove them and isolate them in a safe and dignified manner.
Just so you know, we're coming to your house, seizing your children and, quote, isolating them in a safe and dignified manner.
We must recognize that the internet has provided a dangerous avenue to radicalize disturbed minds and perform demented acts. We must shine light on the dark recesses of the internet and stop mass murders before they start. The internet, likewise, is used for human trafficking, illegal drug distribution, and so many other heinous crimes. The perils of the internet and social media cannot be ignored, and they will not be ignored. We cannot allow ourselves to feel powerless. We can and will stop this evil contagion. In that task, we must honor the sacred memory of those we have lost by acting as one people. Open wounds cannot heal if we are divided. We must seek real bipartisan solutions. We have to do that in a bipartisan manner that will truly make America safer and better for all. First, we must do a better job of identifying and acting on early warning signs. I am directing the Department of Justice to work in partnership with local, state, and federal agencies, as well as social media companies, to develop tools that can detect mass shooters before they strike. As an example, the monster in the Parkland High School in Florida had many red flags against him, and yet nobody took decisive action. Nobody did anything. Why not? We must reform our mental health laws to better identify mentally disturbed individuals who may commit acts of violence and make sure those people not only get treatment, but when necessary, involuntary confinement. We must make sure that those judged to pose a grave risk to public safety do not have access to firearms, and that if they do, those firearms can be taken through rapid due process. That is why I have called for red flag laws, also known as extreme risk protection orders. Today, I'm also directing the Department of Justice to propose legislation ensuring that those who commit hate crimes and mass murders face the death penalty, and without years of needless delay. The choice is ours, and ours alone. It is not up to mentally ill monsters. It is up to us.
What does opening up look like? Which activities have, like schools, have such benefit to be done in a way that the risk of transmission is very low?
Yeah.
And which activities, like mass gatherings, may be, in a certain sense, more optional. And so until you're widely vaccinated, those may not come back at all.
Beach parks across the state remain closed, and while you can conduct ocean activities in the ocean and workout
We want to talk several ideas on the Constitution, Richard Proctor, today. And one is one of the ideas are dealing with the election. A lot of things there, and the other things are about our personal freedom. We talk a lot about vaccines and stuff coming up.
Yes.
So let's start there. Just big picture, Richard Proctor. Sorry, I got to use this button. Sorry, I got a little control thing, but I'll figure it out. If the CDC would come up and say everybody should be vaccinated, and a President Trump or a President Biden would come on TV and say, okay, you guys, you got to get vaccinated because it's just the proper thing to do. Constitutionally, where are we with that?
Throw it out the window. Is that clear?
Wow. Okay, I like you. You're hired. How much are you an hour? Throw it out. That's the kind of answer I want to hear.
Let me just read you from the document itself. It's not tough.
All right.
From the Fourth Amendment, the right of the people to be secure in their persons, shall not be violated. Is that good enough?
Secure in their persons. Does that mean my bedroom and my underwear drawer, or does it mean my person Patrick?
That's talking about your person. The next one says houses, pairs, and effects shall not be violated. So your right for your own body, that's persons. Houses includes the stuff you just talked about. Mm-hmm. Papers includes the stuff that's in your desk. Effects includes everything around you. Shall not be violated unless there's a judicial warrant. That's the only reason.
Judicial warrant. So what about my body, my Patrick's body? Is that part of the Fourth Amendment?
You bet. That's what it means by persons.
Read it again.
The right of the people to be secure in their persons. That's one right. Next right, to be secure in their houses. Next right, to be sure in their papers. The next right, to be sure in their effects, or whatever effects is. Then it says, against unreasonable searches and seizures. Shall not be violated. Shall not be violated.
Richard
and
Proctor,
no warrant shall issue for probable cause. Go ahead.
Excuse me. No, I'm sorry. I interrupted. What's that last sentence?
No warrant shall be violated without proper cause.
What does that mean?
Oh, that means that if the government, let's say the police, any organization like that, official organization, can show probable cause to the judge, that means they really have a reason to do it.
Yeah.
You're in violation and they have a reason to do it. That's what probable cause is. So if they come to give you an injection and you say no, and they don't have a warrant, then you've got this on completely okay. You're fine. If they say yes and they have a warrant, then you have the right to read the warrant to see whether or not the warrant is valid in the situation. Those are your rights. You also have the right to have an attorney present for any of that.
Whoa. Now, wait a minute. So are you suggesting that if a dark day would come and somebody knocks on the door with glasses, climbs out of a black SUV, saying they're from the government and they're here to help, and they want to vaccinate, somebody, and they actually would have a warrant, and we'll get into that and what that would take, you then have the right to read it, and you have the right to have an attorney present before they could process the warrant?
Oh, sure. They can't do these things to you unless you have a right to defend yourself. That's what what these rights are all about. I mean, let's just look at what this says. Let's look close.
Okay.
The right of the people to be secured in their persons shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue but upon probable cause. Do you know what the probable cause is? I don't know what probable cause means, but an attorney does. You see? So probable cause can be stretched to a lot of things, but the attorney knows how far it can be stretched and how far it can't be stretched. So that's why you might want an attorney there. And it's got to be supported. Go ahead.
Oh, no. You go ahead.
I was just going to say, and the warrant, the probable cause, has to be certified by oath or affirmation. particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized or tampered with.
Ooh,
I added the or tampered with.
or tampered with. So, in theory, in this mythical movie, because it's not going to happen, but let's just say it's a movie, we would then could say, okay, guys, you guys hang out here, and I'm going to call my attorney. He lives in Cincinnati or something, so you got to hang out here until he flies in. I'd have the right to do that.
Well, I think maybe that might not be considered reasonable.
Okay, that wouldn't be reasonable. All right. Well, let's go
But
back.
I think if you read it to him on the phone and they accepted it on the phone and he had rights to practice in your state, that would be reasonable.
Right. Well, what if a president like Joseph Biden, who I think would lean towards a more globalist view, I don't want to get too political here, but I will because I don't care. And he says, well, I'm just going to get the new attorney general who I just appointed, who's my brother Harry, and he can do a warrant for everybody to get vaccinated. I mean, then would we be in duck soup?
No, he doesn't have any authority to get that warrant. This is a state situation now. He doesn't have any authority. And the warrant isn't by the attorney general, it's by the judge. And the judges have to put their name on the line to get it. So it couldn't be done that way. The problem of this whole scenario could be that someone say probable cause is the disease. And all of a sudden we have a new part brought up. The disease, like for example, if it was the Black Plague,
Right.
the disease, that's probable cause. They're pretending like this disease we have today is probable cause for national emergency. They're pretending it because they've manufactured the statistics. And the disease itself was computed, the disease, not the name of the disease was computed by a computer because it's a virus they'd never seen before.
Yes.
So then that virus they'd not seen before got stuck with a name that they defined with parameters of, oh my, less than 1% viability, less than 0.01% liability. Let me mention what I mean by that. When the people that were studying this particular virus, and that's what it is, studied, they had to refine it and isolate it. To refine it and isolate it requires 30,000 pairs. They had 37 pairs.
I understand.
So they didn't isolate it or refine it.
Yes, sir.
Since they only had 37, they still wanted to use it. So they stuffed those 37 into a computer and told the computer to come up with the disease they wanted.
Yes,
The
sir.
disease doesn't exist as they've outlined it.
Yes.
It's a virus, no different than any other flu virus we've seen. Every year we've had it, but they've done something with it. They pretended like it's worse. Now, I have a document that I have sent out to people where the physician, Dr. Cohen, discusses these very facts. When the computer looked at that, it had to find 29,963 more pairs. Just pull them out. That's like, and this is the illustration that was used, that's like a scientist, and these are called scientists, they pull out a piece of a horn, a small piece of a hoof, and one tail thread, put that in the computer and tell it to find a unicorn.
Yes, sir.
Since they don't know what a unicorn is, it will find something and it will call it a unicorn. That's what computers do. And if several people did it and they got different unicorns, which is what he said happened, then they all get together and decide which unicorn is correct. A vote, you might say, consensus. That's not science, that's criminal. And that's what's happened.
Yes, sir. Richard Proctor is with us. Mr. Proctor, good job with that. Very, very well stated. We've had quite a few credentialed people on this program that have elucidated like that. Dr. Thomas Cowan, Richard Parker, and David, whatever. Sorry, just let me finish a second. A couple people out of Europe, also Andrew Kaufman, a lot of folks. So I think you're correct with that. But let's go back. Let's go back and let's talk about a president this mythical president, potentially a Joe Biden, who would like to vaccinate the world. And he's kind of said it pretty much and locked down everything. Walk us through constitutionally where myself, Patrick, and you and our listeners today on this November 17 day would be with this. I mean, I hear you, and I believe you're correct, but wouldn't something like what you've just said had to be argued in a court? In other words, what if they just made up that this virus, which really doesn't exist, as you so eloquently has shown, and they're using this as the cause for the warrant? Where would we be then? Would we have to go to court to prove that it's not real?
You know, now you're into the justice system, which is not really a justice system anymore. It's a political system.
Yes.
So yes, we might have to do those kinds of things, and you'd have to drag in medical experts to say what it was.
Sure.
And they would drag in a medical expert to say that it isn't.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden we're in a battle of attorneys, and there's no justice going to come out of it. It's going to be political when it comes out of it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being your most confident, what would your guess, knowing what you know about the Constitution, be that a President Biden could try to pull this off to vaccinate everyone just by force without any maybe adhesion contracts to travel or something? We'll talk about that. Do you think it's very possible he could do that or would try?
Oh, yes. I think it's very possible that he would say that. Remember the N1 virus we had in about 2002 or some such thing?
Yes, sir.
I was positive that they were going to show up at my door and give me two options: either take the injection or we'll take you to prison. Now, I knew if they took me to prison, I wouldn't be treated properly. I wouldn't have the medicines I need to survive. So that would be a death. I have diabetes, and I have to have medicine every day and special diet. I knew that if they took me there, I wouldn't get those things and I would die. I took the medicine, I would die also. So I just had to weigh which one I was going to accept, because there's nothing I can do about it at the moment on the doorstep except that. So I made a decision. I made a decision on what's the most important to me, to either take the medicine and so that I can stay and keep my health in good shape, or go to prison. And those are the two options. Today, I'm not sure what I would do today if the guy showed up.
Mm-hmm.
But in those days, I decided I would go to prison first.
Yes.
Because if I was in prison, I could have somebody represent me and perhaps I could get something done. But remember, everybody needs to remember the federal law. There is a federal law here, you guys. This is a law passed by Congress long, long time ago. Title 8 is like in 1948. We're talking a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about Title 8. We're talking about Title 42. Title 8, Section 242, and Title 42, Section 1983. Those two sections say that no government official can step outside of his constitutional authority. And if he does, he's up for fines, jail time, and maybe even capital punishment. It says that in the law. Yes, it says that in the law.
That's not a statute. That's a real law title, correct?
That's law. Well, it's a law, statute law. Yes,
Okay.
It's a law. U.S. Code, and that's talking to government officials. Now, one would say, but that doesn't apply to the state government. Then we go to Article 6 of the Constitution, and Article 6 of the Constitution says in paragraph 3 that every state official must swear allegiance to this Constitution by oath or affirmation. So that puts the onus on them to follow the Constitution, which means follow my constitutional rights. You understand what I mean?
Got it.
I mean, I hope the group.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be obscure here. This document was ratified in 1788, and nothing has replaced it. Nothing at all. Therefore, it still stands. It is a permanent document. If these people get together and have a con and put out something else and it gets ratified, then we have a difficulty with that. But that has not been done So this is the document that stands. Ratified 1788. It's a contract. You and I get to abide by it. The states abide by it, and the federal government abides by it.
Good for you. Richard Proctor, Proctor Constitutional Party. Your website is Provis Institute.
ProvisInstitute.com.
ProvisInstitute.com. We're going to ask you about states and federal jurisdiction, Richard Proctor, in a second, and then also the county sheriff and that kind of. This may be a legal thing, but let me know if it is. So you stay right there, and if you're listening live this morning, it is November 17th.
Oh, good.
So that's the idea, that the government would provide a terrain, if you will. We use the word terrain.
Let me give you an illustration. Not too many months ago, the law in California that the governor had shut down churches went to the Supreme Court, and they said it is constitutional. So you can't believe anything the Supreme Court says just because they say it. Sometimes it's political, not legal.
Sometimes.
The welfare program is not legal and never has been legal. Doesn't matter if we want to think it is not legal. Social Security is not legal. Sorry, guys, it isn't legal. It's not constitutional.
Sorry, guys.
The federal government has no power to do those things.
Well, what are we, the people, going to do if we've been kind of told that these 9 people in these little robes up there do have the final word? I mean, what are we going to do with that?
Well, again, the Constitution says, now the Declaration of Independence, this is very important, you guys. The Declaration of Independence says very clearly, alter or abolish the government. We are in the same position as the colonies were vis-a-vis England. We are in exactly the same position.
Really?
We are in trouble because the government has refused to honor the document that, the Constitution was created by who? People and states. Who is the child that the people and the states created? The federal government. Since when does the child tell the parents what to do? You see?
Yes,
Since
sir.
when does a child 4 or 5 years old tell the parents what to do? The government has no rights in most of the things they're doing today. All of these agencies, regulatory agencies, they're all against the Constitution. Every one of them. The states have those rights, not the federal. Now, if the state does it, they have it within their power. The state doesn't do it. The federal does it. Federal does not have it within their power.
Wow.
I'm gonna read another thing out of the Constitution. I like to read out of the Constitution.
I know you do.
Article 1, Section 1, Paragraph 1. All legislative powers herein granted shall be vested in a Congress of the United States, which shall consist of a Senate and a House of Representatives, period. Nobody else can pass laws but them. So the Supreme Court doesn't pass laws. It just says, well, I think maybe this is what we ought to do, maybe perhaps. That's all the effect of the Supreme Court decision.
Wow.
Period.
That's Article 1, Section 1. That's 111. That was the number one thing they put in there.
Very most important beginning sentence.
Wow.
The legislature passes laws and nobody else does. That means no regulation guy can come in and say it's a law. That means agency. No president can pass an executive order and call it a law. No Supreme Court can pass any judgment and call it a law. No. If it's not passed by Congress, it's not a law. Now, here's an illustration. The days of the abortion, 72.
Yes, sir.
Every state and federal all had laws against abortion.
Yes.
They were set aside by a decision. I think maybe this is what we ought to do, by the Supreme Court. And we call that the law of the land. And it is not the law of the land. It is a decision made by 9 people who are changing the Constitution without authority.
So
they started.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So the idea of not to be able to kill a baby in utero, is that a constitutional thing?
Oh, that's very bad. It's very bad. The Declaration of Independence says create. It doesn't say born. It says all are created equal. When does create occur? It doesn't occur at birth. So we're killing creations of God. Folks, that's what we're doing. We are killing them. They're in a stage of not born yet, but they're still a individual.
Gotcha.
Created.
No, I understand. So this was Roe v. Wade you're talking about, right?
Yes, I'm talking about that.
Okay.
Yes.
So, but isn't anything that is abhorrent to the Constitution not a law?
That's right. That's what it says. Exactly what it says. Article 6 again, paragraph 2. Very, very clear, paragraph 2, about the law of the land. It goes from the Constitution first, second to the laws that the Congress passes that are in accordance with the Constitution. Third, any treaties that occur that are in accordance with the laws and the Constitution. That's the order. It doesn't just say a treaty that becomes a law. It doesn't say a decision becomes a law. It says the Constitution is first.
So where are we with having some bureaucrat tell us what to do that's abhorrent to the Constitution? I don't know.
Folks, we're very comfortable. This, and I'll support this. Folks ask questions. I'll do that. I'll do that. Never, the Constitution never did specify what jurisdiction means. Okay? The first Congress says both parents, because sound bites over the television and what people say that they're going to do, which they don't do. And the only way you can know what someone will do is look at what he has done. If he hasn't done what he said he would do, he's not going to start now. And then another thing about politicians, they wind up in a room with an audience, and they talk to that audience and tell them all the things they're going to do. Oh, yeah, I'll support this, and I'll support this. Folks ask questions. I'll do that. I'll do that. I'll do that. Now they go across town, and they're in front of another audience. And this audience, so you do this, and both audiences are diametrically opposed to the two conditions. One wants A and one wants B, but he's going to promise both of them. And A and B are not compatible.
Yes, sir.
And that's what's going on.
Let's get to a few emails, and then we are going to get into the election before we go. Do you have some time here? I'm having fun. You okay?
Oh, I have time. I have time. My time is yours.
Attaboy.
Whenever you want.
Thank you. Could Mr. Proctor clear up the jurisdiction thereof clause in the Citizenship Clause of the 14th Amendment? States, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state where they reside. Basically, are anchor babies citizens of mom if mom makes it on U.S. soil 2 minutes before birth, or is that just political BS because Kamala Harris' parents were not U.S. citizens, therefore is she eligible to be president? Wow, that's a handful. Okay, so let's dig into that one.
Okay, well, let's dig into it. Very, very first thing we need to remember is that the Congress, the original Congress, the first Congress, the Constitution never did specify what jurisdiction means. Okay, the first Congress says both parents have to be citizens. Later on, it was changed to one parent. Currently, this is what the law, the direction should be. Notice how I said that should be? Okay.
Uh-huh.
This is what it means. First, born on American soil is one condition. Second, the jurisdiction will be derived from the parent's jurisdiction because the kid didn't have anything to say about anything. So it's the parent's jurisdiction. So you could rephrase, if this was written for the slaves who were coming into the Union, not written for all the rest of this stuff. This could be rephrased to say this: must be born on American soil from parents who have jurisdiction in the United States has jurisdiction over the parents. It should say that. Today, this is the rule. Any person born of one parent that's a citizen is a citizen of the United States, no matter where they're born, and they will be considered natural born citizens. If they don't have either parent, they are not a citizen of the country, period. They have to have one parent. Even if they're born in Washington, D.C., they must have one parent. They must have one. This young lady had one Jamaican and one Indian, as I understand it. So therefore, she's a citizen of Jamaica or India, or both. But
How
she
could
is
she be
not
the-
a citizen.
So you're
States.
saying you've looked into this, and this Kamala Harris, not easy. She's not I mean, she's not eligible to be
Not at
vice
all.
president.
Not at all. She's not eligible anymore. She's not eligible to be in the Senate. She's not a citizen.
How come anybody isn't bringing this up? I mean, it's few people, but I mean, nobody like
Nobody pays attention to the Constitution anymore, Pat. They don't care anymore. That's why we're where we are.
really.
We're digging this hole deeper and deeper, and we won't stop digging. That's why we're
Whoa.
where we are.
What's this anchor
That's
babies
why-
idea that President that's talked about? I don't quite understand it. It's the idea that if you're born on the soil, then you are a citizen. Is that constitutional?
No, it is not. It's not in the basic Constitution, and it's not in the 14th Amendment. It is not true. It is not right. But it's politically what they want.
Well, what
Because
if Congress, House, and the Senate say it is true? Then does that make it constitutional?
No. Nope. No. Remember Article 6, Paragraph 2, the Constitution's first. Any law against the Constitution is null and void.
Okay. Got to remember that one. Article, what is
Yeah.
it? Article 6? What?
Article 6, Paragraph 2. Yeah.
Okay. Anything
there.
that supports the Constitution, it just, let it go.
That's right. If it doesn't support the Constitution, I'll read it directly, so we won't have any questions.
Okay.
I will read Article 6, Paragraph 2 exactly. Don't want to get anybody mixed up here. Here we are on this paragraph. Paragraph 1. I'm sorry, Paragraph 2, Article 6. The Constitution and the laws of the United States, which shall be made in pursuant thereof. Now, what does in pursuant thereof mean? In pursuant thereof means the laws must be in pursuant of the Constitution itself. Then it says all treaties which shall be made under the authority of the United States. What is the authority of the United States? First, the Constitution, and second, the laws of the land. So if the treaty does not is not in accordance with the Constitution and the laws of the land, then it's null and void. And any law passed that is not in accordance with the Constitution because of the words pursuant thereof means that it has to be the same as the Constitution says it's going to be. So you've got number 1, Constitution. Number 2, the laws of the land, which are in accordance with the Constitution. Number 3, treaties, which are in accordance with the laws of the land and the Constitution. When you get to that point, then you get to read the next line. It'll be the supreme law of the land, and the judges in every state shall be bound thereby. But you can't go to that last statement until the first 3 conditions are solved.
Wow.
All right, I'm gonna read this one article. See about this Ebola virus thing that's someone brought up. Let's see here. So I guess November 16th, 2020, deadly new Ebola-like disease emerges in Bolivia. A deadly South American virus that causes Ebola-like bleeding can spread human to human. Public health officials have learned from its second ever outbreak. Public health investigators have constructed the path by which the Chipare virus spread from person to person during a 2019 outbreak in Bolivia, leaping from the initial patient to several healthcare workers. But while the rodent-borne Chipare, or I don't know how to pronounce that, sorry, Chipare virus is highly lethal, killing 3 of 5 confirmed patients in the latest outbreak. The pathogen poses very little risk to people in North America, experts say. The virus is not one we think is going to be is really going to really be a major threat to the United States, says Dr. Dan Bosch, president-elect of the American Society of Tropical Medicine and Hygiene. The virus is important to understand for people who might be traveling in this area of Bolivia, important to understand for people living in that area of the world, and to our greater understanding of these types of viruses, but not something your average person in the U.S. needs to worry about. So I wonder how fast it shows effects, because normally it's the ones that have to that have no symptoms and are contagious, but have no symptoms for a while are the dangerous ones because you can't tell who's got it. I don't know. From what I'm kind of glancing at, it doesn't seem. Oh, okay. So I guess they said this person developed symptoms 14 days later. I don't know. I don't really know what to make of it. So now I'm just kind of reading comments. So I still wonder if they're really even going to have a dark winter. No. I mean, I'm preparing for it. That's for sure. I'm not taking chances. I'm trying to prepare for it. It's kind of hard to prepare for it though. I'm trying to do something, but I don't know what I really have no idea what they're up to. I have a real hard time thinking that they're going to just totally collapse society next year, because I think they're going to put Trump in. I think Trump's going to, I don't know. I get a strong feeling that unless Trump really, really, really didn't want to be in, but I don't think he's got a choice. He's just kind of he's just part of the script, and he's just got to do what he's told. So if they want him to be president, he's got to be president. But as far as all the Constitution, if you watch that whole video, and there's a couple of others, I'll try to put on my website. But when they're explaining all these constitutional avenues Trump could take, it's really getting harder for me to believe that he won't be president. He's got a lot of different things he could do. And I don't know. I just the scenario I'm almost wish I didn't even bother making that Joe Biden video, because I kind of was I just don't even see that scenario even coming about. I don't think Joe Biden's gonna become president. But I just think there's gonna be something that happens with all those with all the ecumenicals and Catholics and Trump, because I could just see a lot of people thinking about Trump's looking like a hero, fighting this deep state, getting everyone, and it looks like they're trying to get everyone so mad and worked up, and I don't know. I could just really see people it's kind of like how they do the Democrat and Republican. It's you might not think about going along with a religious movement and things like that, but I could I'll always see them trying to play. I don't know, one side so hard, and then it's if you try to keep putting this one movement up front. Oh man, I don't know. You know what? I think I'm getting a little tired. I'm gonna probably just cut out, because I'm kind of my thoughts are all crisscrossing. But I don't know. When you say you didn't, hold on, what BS are you saying you're not buying? Because I kind of missed it. I don't know. I'm trying to go back and. I didn't even see your comment because you were asking about the election. So. I don't know what to think of Carrie Madaj or whatever her name is. Like, I don't know. I kind of gotta look into her background because there's like something that just didn't sit quite right with me. I mean, I did put her in like a video, but I'm still kind of like wondering if. I don't know. You know, the one thing I'll say about that whole virus, though, it's really weird that we're on this like global lockdown, and the only cure they're willing to give us is some new vaccine. So the very first time this type of vaccine is ever being like handed out to the public. It's never been handed out to the public before. Never used this type of vaccine. But the first time we use this vaccine is when we get the whole world on global lockdown, and then they march out this vaccine. That's the one thing that's really weird to me about it, because I keep thinking to myself, am I like, is this vaccine really bad or not? Or are they trying to fool us? Are they gonna get us so against taking the vaccine that when they roll out a real virus, or like when this virus comes about, we die because we didn't take the vaccine? I go back and forth, but then it's like I come back to that whole thing where it's an mRNA vaccine. They've never used that type of vaccine before, and they just happen to have the world on lockdown right when they're getting ready to roll out this vaccine for the first time. That's the part that's get me kind of like I don't know, really wondering what's going on. Yeah, Hexene. I could see that. Yeah. I'm not taking it. Like, I'm really kind of sorry about ever having my son. I only had one of my sons vaccinated, and I wish I wouldn't have never done it. And he actually had a bad reaction. So that's why I was like, I'll never even before this whole Corona thing came out, I was like, I'm not vaccinating my son. My other son, I was like, I'm done with vaccines. When he had a bad reaction, he got sick, and I'm like, this is another case of like, they say a lot of these vaccine injuries and stuff and bad reactions aren't reported. Well, here's one more. I didn't report mine to anyone, but we had it. So those things are probably like probably happen more than people think. Are you talking about the so you said, hey, is that on YouTube? Are you talking about this Carrie Madaj Human 2.0? So I can go try to find a link and post it in the comments. Well, Well, I don't see nothing pop up when I put. I don't know unless you got put human 2.0. But I don't see nothing popping up when I put it. So. Probably have to just go to her channel, I'm guessing. Oh, BitChute. Okay. I guess you might have to go to BitChute, but she's got a channel on YouTube unless that they just didn't bother to they wouldn't let her put it on YouTube. But well, I don't see that particular video on her channel, so yeah, you'll probably have to go to BitChute. So you say, so Truth Free says she is the only one sharing the GMP patent DARPA hydrogel aspects. No, I mean, I don't know. I'd have to go look at that. I mean, I know a lot of people are sharing the hydrogel. I mean, it's GMP patent DARPA hydrogel. Like that's all one thing, right? Like, cause I thought they were all like I thought that was all tied into the hydrogel. Okay, so Truth Freeze is saying about 2% of the vaccine injuries are reported. Yeah, I would guess so. Yeah, probably unless they're like super severe. My kid getting sick, I don't know. I just think it's kind of like the more I look into these vaccines and see what they put in them, I just don't even know what the point of a vaccine is because it really looks like it's like you could prevent most of these illnesses if you just ate right and had the right herbs upon onset of the illness, and I don't know why you need these vaccines. Okay, so he's Carrie Madaj with Dr. Kaufman on BitChute. See if I can find that link, and I'll post that link in there. Hey, Truth Freeze, you probably didn't see my video yesterday. Man, I saw this. Well, maybe a lot of people haven't seen my video yesterday, but I posted I was talking about how like this Richie Allen had an interview with Dr. Vernon Coleman, and I watched that video earlier, and I went back to watch it when I got off work because there was something I wanted to review about it. And man, that video lasted 12 hours on the internet, and he ripped it down. But I did repost it on my site, fishingfortruth.com. It's somewhere near the top of the page. You don't have to scroll down too far to find it. But if you go to the 59-minute mark, you can listen to it. But I was kind of surprised it got taken down. But he was like really going into he was going into a lot of different things. And I thought it was one of Vernon Coleman's better interviews. I was still surprised that it got taken down because I didn't think he went that much further than what he normally does. I thought it was pretty informative, but I'm still just surprised. Oh yeah, I accidentally get my profile sometimes switched. But let's see here. I'm just gonna try to see if I can find that Carrie Madaj and is it Carrie Madaj and Kaufman, right? Is that the one that's talking about like the human 2.0? I'll just post this. I know this is the interview with Karen Dodge and Kaufman. Okay, I found the human 2.0 video too.
So what do you think about going from human 1.0 to human 2.0?
Well, I will post that link. So there's that Karen Madaj, or I don't know how you say her name, but there's the link I just posted was the human 2.0. But hey, I'm getting pretty tired. I know this. I'm getting pretty brain dead right now, so I'm just gonna let you people go. I just kind of wanted to share. I just want to get those quotes because there's a couple of things. I just want to catch that one constitutional expert talking about the Kamala Harris and how she doesn't even qualify to be a citizen, let alone she shouldn't even be a senator. I mean, right there's another thing. I'm not for Donald Trump at all, but if he really wanted to fight this, he could challenge that Democrat ticket as even being like a legal ticket, right? He could just say, "Hey, I'm not gonna concede nothing. I'm not going anywhere. That ticket's not even legal, because how can I lose to a ticket like that when that ticket shouldn't even be running?" I would fight it and not leave over that, but I don't think he would ever fight that just because he kind of rolled over for Obama. Because I thought he should have fought whether Obama was a natural born citizen. So I don't think he's going to do that for Kamala, especially after he donated her money. Oh, I've been saying since probably September 5th that Donald Trump was going to win, and he's going to win a rigged election. He's going to win an election that was rigged against him. And I said they were going to make it obvious. And because as soon as he started talking about all that stuff about, hey, are you going to concede if you lose? As soon as he started with all that talk, and I saw that Kamala was like the VP, I knew that they were on purposely going to rig it. And they wanted to run a really bad ticket to make the rigging really obvious, and Donald Trump was going to win. And I feel like Donald Trump's going to win without a doubt because I think that's the script. So, but yeah, hey Phoenix One, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate all your kind words, and yeah, I think I'm just gonna go sleep because I'm like, I can tell like I'm super tired. I'm not gonna make any sense. Like I remember I was trying to say something a while ago and I was like, wow, that's coming out really stupid. I need to just stop talking. So hey. I don't think it's, truth is, it's not just to depup and sterilize. I think it's to, because with these vaccines, you can always put things in them to make people dumb. You could, I don't know, you can do a lot when you start forcing all these vaccines into everybody. And it's just so much control because certain people aren't going to take them. Like, you got a lot of like really like true Christian people. They won't take them. So, I mean, that's the perfect thing if you want to take and remove them from society, remove them from participation, because, you know, they're going to be one of the last people not to go take one of these crazy vaccines. So, hey, what a better way to do it than, you know, start doing it this way, require people to get vaccinated. That way they're the outcasts of society because they won't get a vaccine. Yeah, brain damage and sick for pharma. Yeah. And Sam Gerber says, believe it or not, this is what others have referred to as the Great Coal. Well, you're the first person I've ever heard use that term. So are there like people that are actually saying this is a great coal? Because if so, I'll go look it up. You know, have others use that term? Because you're the first person I've ever heard use that term. I mean, like, I didn't know if there's like some, like how a lot of people are saying like the Great Reset and the Fourth Industrial Revolution is like the Great Coal, like another term too, or oh, it came out of Hillary's mouth. Okay, all right. Yeah, John. Hey, I'm getting ready to go, but hey, I'm like really sorry. I can't stay on. I can tell I'm like really brain dead and getting tired. So I didn't even mean to do an hour long show. I really just wanted to play these couple of clips before I forgot them. Basically, I was trying to play those clips just for like so I knew where they were and what they were because I want to use them later for some points I want to make. But all right. You know, I was just playing. I was just playing a few video clips. I wasn't really talking much. I mean, I just been the only part I've been talking is like maybe the last 15 minutes. And I was basically just playing different video clips from earlier. I was trying to play this one where I saw these like some like there's like African people. It was someplace in Africa, and I guess like the cops or whatever were like hitting the people with sticks, and this one lady had her legs all like kind of like scarred up where they hit her with sticks because she left her apartment during a quarantine or left her house during quarantine, and they were just like roughing these people. Well, I was trying to find that clip, but I couldn't find it. So there's just like a lot of things like that I was wanting to play, but I really couldn't find them all, and I don't want people to just be staring at me trying to find like move the video needle around and stuff. So, but anyway, I'm gonna call it a night. Thanks everybody. Yeah, Smooth is getting rough. Yeah. Much love to all of you. This must be the better time. It's like see 5 people just randomly pop up. Must be a good time for most people. But you hope there's not much to all these holiday like I think they're just I think it's gonna get worse. I think it's gonna be worse than it was last year. I mean, I hope I'm wrong, but yeah, Australia is being tested a bit. I guess from what Sam Groper was telling me one time, she said like I guess like Australia is like split into 2 extremes. Like you got an east and a west, and like one is like really like crazy and hardcore about the lockdowns, and the other side's a little bit more like a lot more relaxed. Something like that, if I remember right. But But hey, I'm gonna stop talking. So later. Bye. Sorry, I'm gonna end this quick and abruptly.